Okay, this is from the Trig, inverse Trig section from the online homework number 2, and it is, I believe, question number 7. It asks us to find all the solutions in the interval 0 to 2 pi for this equation. But notice that the cosine has a 2x and the sine has an x. So replace cosine 2x with an identity. You just got to pick the right one. Unfortunately, cosine 2x has 3 of them. Cosine of twice x is, on the one hand, 1 minus 2 times the sine squared on x. On the other hand, it's 2 cosine squared on x minus 1. And then thirdly is cosine squared x minus sine squared x. We have our choice of which one of these we're going to use, and we're going to take into account the rest of it, look in the context and see the rest of the equation. Notice how there's a sine x in the equation. These two have cosine squared in them, so it's good to have all one trig function, so we're going to go with this one. Replace cosine 2x with 1 minus 2 sine squared on x. Here's what that does for you. By doing that, we have that the 1's cancel. And then we can shift this over to the other side and have root 3. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Don't do that. Let me backtrack a second. We don't want to do that. So here's what we want to do. Factor out a sine x. I'm sorry. At that point, we want to factor out a sine x. So let's go back and do that. These two terms have a sine x in common. Let's take it out. Once we take a sine x out, we'll be left with negative 2 sine x plus the root of 3. You see, if you try to do what I was about to do, where I put the sine squared part on the other side, when you solve it, and the first step you would do at that point would be to try to divide by sine, and then you'll be forgetting part of the answers. And so by doing it this way, when you're trying to solve an equation, factoring is the key. I now have two things multiplied to give me 0. Either sine x is 0, or negative 2 sine x is plus root 3 is 0. Where's the sine of x 0 at? Unit circle has y coordinates 0 for 0 and pi. So x is equal to 0 and x is equal to pi. Over here, we solve for sine x to get that the sine of x is root 3 over 2. Where does that happen on a unit circle? That happens here and here. Those points have y coordinates of root 3 over 2. Those points correspond to the angles pi over 6 and 2 pi, I'm sorry, pi over 3, what am I thinking? Sorry, pi over and 2 pi over 3. So those are those two answers. And so you have to be careful with your algebra, factor out, and then you'll get all the answers. So in increasing order, we have x is equal to 0, pi over 3, 2 pi over 3, and pi. Yeah.